Good morning and welcome to Friday, my friends. It feels so good to be back, reading like normal, back with my Friday recap of the following week. I missed it. I needed the break for a couple of weeks, and I am so excited to be back in and kind of working, quote unquote, like normal. If I ever was normal, I don't know. It's a thing to be questioned. This week, though, in this reading, we're going to be looking at, and it's crazy, we're already on January 9th through the 15th. We're already into the middle of the month. Oh my God. It's going to be one of those things where January flies by and we're going to be like, wow, okay. Then 2022 is going to fly by. I don't want to have people regretting that they were too caught up and missed out. So this reading and like all my other readings, I want to make sure that you guys have the ability to really engage with all you can, embracing those amazing opportunities and not missing out on stuff that we usually miss out on because we're so damn busy. And I get it. It's not going to get less busy, but we need to be using our abilities and our tools and us in a better way. So, the deck I chose for my first reading back, this is my Arcanya deck. I got it late last year, and I love it. The artwork is stunning. I have left a link below for this. The Arcanya Tarot is a Kickstarter. It took forever to get here because it was from Paris, from France. I always say it's from Paris because that's the one place most people know about France. So I adore this deck. And I couldn't think of a better way to kick it off with something that is so beautiful and just to the point and accurate. And then I have paired it with the standard, love this deck, the Enchanted Map Oracle. It's just a great deck. Very broad in scope. Still beautiful and very to the point as well. I'm a to the point kind of girl. So let's look at this coming up week. What does January 9th through the 15th bring, my friends? Now I should point out, next week is a bit of a rockin' and a rollin' week because we have Mercury Retrograde coming in on the 14th, which is Friday. And then we have the full moon, the full wolf moon, the energy being able to be embraced as of the 15th. So there's lots going on next week. Let's just start off slamming you in the face with the truth. Stuck in the mud. I really would have loved this if it was stuck in the muck because it's kind of what it feels like. It's kind of Dr. Seussy when you say that, but I enjoy it. Stuck in the mud. We feel it, that heaviness, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We're just like, ugh. And we keep doing the same things. It's like Groundhog Day. Or like, really? I just don't know how much more I can deal with the same. That's when we need to look at breaking those patterns. And it's easier said than done. But we need to stop going in that trench. Focusing in two ways. One, with our head down and going in a circle. Or two, looking at the past. Sure, we can gain some insight and aha tools we use. We could look at how we overcame things, look at those patterns. But usually when we're looking back, it's not what we're doing. We are, oh my God, I should have, I could have, I would have, I can't believe. Or we get caught up in, I remember when it was so great. We get caught up in those good old days. Neither of these are helpful for you. So we need to be getting our head up and forward to enjoy what's happening here and now. It does not matter what's happening around us. There are going to be opportunities, supports. There's going to be things that will help us, especially as we're going to get into a more challenging time. We need to be more present than reactful, because we get into that reactive state when we get caught up in our head and we're worried about what was happening in the future and all those things in the past. We're not in our present. We're not using our frontal cortex, and we're reacting. That's going to help you. Deep freeze. If you're where I live right now, yesterday was minus 30 something with a wind chill to minus 40. And that's in Canada, so I don't even know what that is in American. It's cold. So yeah, I can feel that deep freeze. But as you can see here, things are warming up. Things are shifting slowly, but they are starting to melt away. We need to be focused in on how we can support this. And even though it feels hard and heavy, getting up, doing things that light that inner fire, bring fulfillment and joy to help melt that even more. We can't just be idle bystanders. We need to be active participants. If we're not actually engaged in this, we're not going to get anything out of it. I love this. Talisman. So talismans are symbols, are tools that we can use to support us. And people are like, yeah, but that sounds really woo-woo-y. Not really. Things like tarot, things like crystals, pendulums, meditation. Even the symbol, and I like the fact that they do have it. It's harder to see, but they have the yin-yang symbol. They have the runes here. It's going to help us on our pathway forward. So yes, we need to be active participants. We want that muck to start to melt. We want things to start to shift and get going. And it does feel like it's almost like frozen muck, if you will, because it's like, I can't move, but must go. That willpower and drive is going to be really important. And yet we don't want to just be moving to move's sake, because that's expending energy and expending our resources. We want to be moving in a pathway forward that makes sense to us. And each person's journey is going to be very different. What's meaningful for you? That's going to be what's really important. And I get this a lot where people are like, there's nothing meaningful for me. That is you being stuck in the muck. Take some time. Reflect. I encourage people to have spiritual binders. Well, it's the beginning of the year, guys. Grab a new one, right? Start reflecting in. If you don't know what's meaningful or what brings you joy, start to write down what you used to like to do. What you're kind of like, I've always wanted to, but. That's going to be part of that talisman. Your spiritual binder, absolutely part of that. Tarot can only do so much. Runes, pendulums, crystals. At the end of the day, it's going to be your willpower, your determination and mindset that's going to get you going. I know a lot of people are like, well, I just go to tarot because it's so easy, it maps it forward. Absolutely. That's why I do this. Tarot was my first talisman. I love it. However, it only guides me. I can't just go, oh, this is what the cards say, and I'll just wait. It's that active participation. And a lot of us struggle with that. I love it. Gentle gardener. Yes, we want things to shift. Yes, we need things to shift. But at the same time, we need to be gentle with us. if we're not gentle with us, we're going to pretty much dig ourselves a bigger trench to get out of. This is not going to be leaps and bounds, fast-paced running forward. This is going to be something that we need to kind of work towards and work for throughout the next how many years. A couple of days ago, I think it was on Sunday, maybe earlier in this week, I posted on my community page and on my social media, what 10 goals do you have for 2022? I do not do resolutions because resolutions do not have that stability. Goals have stability. It's important that we do have a mindset on how we can move forward, because I've been working on goals. And like I said in my little blurb that I brought out on the 4th, that we're going to be looking at more healing on this channel. Yeah, well, you're going to get that this week. We're kicking it off. I'm so excited. One of the goals that I had set up, and I still have set up, is how can I support my friends even more? And then I go to my I don't use my talismans anymore so much. I connect in and ask, what is it that the community needs? How can I move forward? What's coming up? And during that reflection, during that connection time and channeling, they're like, yeah, healing. And I'm like, okay. So part of that gentle gardener, part of that help forward will be some healing. Tuesday, you guys will get my first healing meditation, or well, it's not really meditation. It's a healing session, and I'm so excited about it. Now, don't worry, meditations are still an important tool, and I will continue to bring them out. However, you're going to see there's going to be more healings, especially in the beginning of the year, as we start ourselves up. Let's get into this week a bit more. 15 minutes, and it's 4 cards. Come on, guys. I can chat, right? So, what can my friends expect in the beginning of the week? Now, I know from the analytics, we're getting out of my time zone here. I get a lot of feedback from YouTube on my channel that I have a lot of people who like to watch the video, and I'm trying to keep things short because you guys don't like to watch longer videos. I struggle with that. It's one of the things I'm working on. I'm not doing well today. It's 13 minutes in. But this is the 4 of Rain. The 4 of Cups. Such a pretty card. So the 4 of Cups talks about, of course, focusing in on stuff that's not working. The muck. Ooh. The universe has a 3rd or a 4th cup, because usually it's the card where you have somebody who's under a tree. Pamela Coleman Smith drew 3 cups in front of him, and then a cup being handed to him by a hand in clouds, which symbolizes the Ace of Cups, the Holy Grail. We've been missing out on pieces and aspects. Like I said, we've been so caught up that we've missed these opportunities. We've been caught up in those demands, those expectations, those burdens. Without being present in the here and now, we are not going to see that Holy Grail, those pieces, those ahas that are going to help. As much as I can guide, some of this is work you need to do, to take ownership and pride in what it is you're receiving. If you have questions, ask. Ask your team to confirm. Start looking at it. Really being present for you. And that's when those ahas will start to come forward. You're going to know better how to go forward for you, and you're starting to take time for you. Now, I should mention, this is not a hyper-focused, I'm spending all my day doing this. A little bit of time here and there goes a long way. Many gardeners will spend an hour just, putzing in their garden. We don't even need to spend an hour. Spend 15 minutes putzing in your garden. Giving yourself time for you. Reflecting in for you. Being present for you. Now, the present thing, I would really recommend that you're a little bit more present in your day, more than 15 minutes, because that very present mindset helps to keep in our frontal cortex, because you're focused in at the task at hand rather than jumping forward or getting stuck in the past. But being present for you in a good way, just time for you. Let's get into the middle of the week. What can my friends expect from the middle of the week? Wow. Yeah, so the middle of the week, we're at that precipice of Mercury Retrograde, which many of us fear because it's something we've struggled with in the past, and it's not fun. The Six of Rain, or the Six of Cups. We need that balanced mindset. Like I said before, we don't want to hyper-focus in on stuff. Okay? Six of Cups is also a reminiscing card. The Six of Cups talks about that balance. Going back, like I said, and reflecting on past situations that you've had to overcome. What did you do? How did you succeed? What tools did you use? How would you use them to move yourself in a better mindset or a better way? Well, when you do that, you're using that reflection to your advantage. You're not getting caught up in the good old days or getting caught up in what you did or could have or should have or would have done. We need to use that energy and that time more wisely. Use it to support us rather than to keep us going stuck in the mud. The One Tower. The more we resist, the more we fear, the more we're going to challenge ourselves, the more the universe is going to go, okay, we just need to kick them a bit, zap them in the butt, and get them going. The middle of the week, you're going to be challenged. It's going to come to a head. If you are more open to this, the shift you need, helping you know this, guys, know that the tower is going to shift you out of that muck, help you to break more of that ice, get you going. And that's exactly what the tower does. It's events that we have no control over coming into our life that shake things up. When the tower is hitting, the worst thing you can do is resist it and go, yeah, but. That yeah, but will get you into trouble. This is the time where you need to breathe. You need to keep that mindset on the positive, going, I can get through this. And start to write down. And it's important that we do start to journal and let out some of those feelings, that fear, that pain. Journaling is another talisman that we can use. So going into that, and I encourage it all to be in one space. That's why I use a binder instead of one of those little books, because those little books, they're just not so helpful. You can have a section on reflection, knowing that this week is going to bring in the tower in the middle of the week, right before we get into Mercury retrograde, knowing that we're having some time of challenge. What have you done in the past? How can you use those tools? How can you access them? What supports are you going to need? And how are you going to be able to use your voice to ask for what it is you need? the King of Stones with the King of Pentacles. So that, of course, is the Midas touch. Know that what's going to happen is needed to, well, get you going. And that once you get yourself going and you're not, well, sticking your head back in the sand, if you don't take it, the important part here is going to be making sure that you don't take it as a pity party, that you're actually using this as a movement forward. Think of it as when you're trying to get a car out of mud. If you get a ramp and you get that car going, if you don't keep moving your car forward, it will roll back into the mud. Okay? Same thing. We use this to get ourselves unstuck, and we keep moving. We keep that forward progression. That's why that journaling is going to be so important for you this week, because we need to know where you're starting from, what that event did, how is it impacting you. So when we do that, you're going to see Midas touch really come into effect. The universe is going to be like, ooh, gold stars for you, yay, 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 let's support you. If you don't, you're going to slide back into that mud. And then what's going to happen is this tower is going to come again until we break that pattern. Now, the King of Stones also reminds us, the more grounded and stable we are over this week and the weeks to come, the more we're going to be able to overcome the challenges that we're being faced with. We know that. That's a historical thing. The more grounded we are, the calmer we are. The more we're able to use our frontal cortex, which is the front part of our brain, to process things, to tap into our high vibrational self, tap into our third eye, gain more insight. We may not be using all our clairs connected to our third eye. That's okay. The more we are present, grounded, and calm, the more we're able to create solutions for our greater good, rather than be reactive and all hell breaks loose. So be present. It may be hard. However, we gain the most out of this when things are harder. We wish that other people would support us, or somebody would do something for us. But at the end of the day, if they do, we don't learn what we need to learn. The more present we are, the more we have to work, the more we're using our skills, our abilities. We're experiencing, learning, and growing. It sucks to have to do it the hard way, but when things are the easier way, we appreciate it more. And we also appreciate what we learn and receive right now under that pressure. Let's go on to the end of the week. What does the end of the week bring, my friends? Now, like I said, Mercury Retrograde comes in on the 15th. And as much as we dread, fear, and hate Mercury Retrograde, it does help us out in different ways. Mercury, the planet, impacts our communication center, which is in our throat chakra. Well, when our communications are down, our technology isn't working, we have the ability to connect into aspects that are usually there or always there, that aren't as bright. They're not as woo in your face. It would take a lot for us to see them on in regular life or regular basis. So it does offer us many opportunities. It's just we're so caught up in that fear, that work, that, oh my God, nothing's working, people are mean. Then we are to say, oh, look at this opportunity. If I take that now, I can sidestep a lot. So next week, I will be doing a reading for Mercury Retrograde. I will be doing a reading for the full moon and for the week. And they're all at the end of the week. So I think Thursday or Friday, I'll be doing a double header. I'm not sure which one. It's going to depend on my kiddos. Ooh, yeah. King of Ashes, or the King of Wands. His brother may be telling you to ground. We're going to get through this. I'll anchor you. The King of Fire, of Ash, he's like, bring it on. The King of Wands is ready for that next action stage. Yes, the Tower hits in the middle of the week. Well, the end of the week, even though Mercury is in retrograde, it is time to get going. The King of Wands is the one king that is not sitting on his throne in comfort and in recline. He's sitting forward, and Pamela Coleman Smith drew him that way because he's the one king that isn't comfortable with his position. He'd rather be on the front line doing and leading. And that's what we need to do. Connect into that fire, connect into that leadership. And we have the head honcho, the Emperor, the fourth card in the major arcana. The more we connect into those routines, those structures that support us in our day to get us through meeting our needs, getting those things done, the more we're going to succeed. We have to move ourselves forward. So no matter what happens in the middle of the week, what we need to do is make sure that we keep ourselves on track. Getting up, getting ready for work, going to work or school, getting those things done. Pushing ourselves when we may not want to. However, knowing that no one else is going to be able to do this for us. It sucks, but we do have that fire, using that solar plexus energy to help push us through. Now, we do have the double kings, and kings are the 14th card in the minor arcana. When you have that multiple 14, the angels are telling you that what energies you put out are going to come back at us. We need to be mindful of that. Because if we get caught up in that woe is me victim mentality because something's going to be hard and we're going into Mercury retrograde, well, the universe is going to go, okay, low energy, back at you. If you shift that perspective and say, okay, this sucks. I'm not happy about it. However, I know I've got this. I've dealt with hard things in the past, and this is what I did. This is going to help me overcome this hurdle that I've been stuck on. Using it to ignite that creativity, that passion, that drive. You're going to get over it and through it so much faster, and you're going to see that prosperity come forward because you're staying in that high vibration. You're moving yourself, you're challenging yourself, and you're succeeding because you're using your tools and your skills. Should you stumble and fall a little bit, you're not saying, oh, woe is me. Oh my God, why me? You're like, shake it off, get yourself going again. Because, like I said before, we're the only ones that are going to be able to do this for ourselves. So we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to put on our big girl pants like Bridget Jones. I probably just dated myself there. All right, let's look at what's going to support you here. What will help my friends overcome the challenges of the week and embrace the opportunities that the week presents? Because it doesn't matter what challenges we're being faced with, there are always going to be opportunities. There's going to be supports. There's going to be the ability to move yourself forward. We just need to be present and mindful and not get caught up in the, oh my God, would've, should've, could've, why me? Moonlight. I love it. Mercury retrograde comes in on the 14th, which is the Friday. Saturday, we're going to be able to embrace the full wolf moon that comes in on, just a second. It comes in on the 17th, which is Monday. But because it's the full moon, we can start to embrace that energy on the Saturday. Again, another support to help us overcome some of the challenges. Another support to help to care and nurture for ourselves so that we are feeling stronger, so that we are taking care of ourselves. That moonlight can help guide us, because as we are engaging in that divine feminine energy, we could be looking at a meditation, a healing, something. When you start to take care of yourself and get your head out of that, oh my gods, getting caught up in that rat race, you are able to get those ahas, that pathway forward. Dry desert. We go from one extreme to the other. We have the deep freeze and the dry desert. So the dry desert talks about, even though you feel like you're very alone, lost, and unsure, there are supports, there is stability in the right in front of you. We have that ability to work towards and ask for that help, calling in the help that we need, keeping ourselves moving forward, no matter how disconnected we feel. That disconnection is truly a us thing. High vibrational beings can hear us, as we're lower vibrational for them. So we can hear our ego with no problem. Well, they can hear us with no problem. Asking for the help, using our voice. Balancing act. Like I said, we do want to take things in moderation, and we do want to keep things kind of in that balanced perspective. We don't want to hyper focus in on anything, because that's going to help to topple us. We're going to feel lopsided and unsure, and then we start to tumble and get stuck. Balance means that we are using our full self to our advantage. And it's funny, balancing isn't like the white and black, or just the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Balance is so much more than that. Do they have parts of it? Sure. But when we're balancing ourselves out, we're looking at it almost like a triangle. You have your physical self, your spiritual self, and your mental self. We need that stable. We don't want to be balancing on the point. We want it on that flat part so we feel stronger. Does the yin yang impact it? Absolutely. Everything does. But we want a strong, stable self so that we can get the most understanding out of this week. We can start to put in some shifting, some growth and development, start to use our creativity, our abilities, and we are just pulling what we need where we need it. If we're off balance and we're off key, we're not able to feel strong physically to do it. Emotionally, we're all over the place, so mentally we can't get it done. Spiritually, we feel disconnected, and you pretty much sink back into that mud. And then you get this whole situation again, because this isn't the first time we've had it. And we will continue to have it when we get stuck and stagnant. Rescue. And I mentioned this before. This is stuff that you need to do for you. No one's going to do it for you. You're not going to have a white knight come to save you. You need to be your white knight. Because when we are the ones that stand up and say, I've got this, I am going to start to pull my abilities and my skills out, and I start to create what I need to support me in getting through and over this, that's when I feel like I've accomplished something, and then I feel stronger to be able to take those next steps forward. So this is stuff you can do. You've got this. I've got lots of tools, lots of meditations and mindfulness activities that are on my channel already. On Tuesday, you will get my first healing meditation or healing session that is going to support you even further. And I'm going to continue to support you guys as the decade isn't over. I said back in 2019 that 2020 was going to be what was called a foundational decade. I didn't understand what that meant until, 2020 when everything went kaplooey. And I'm like, oh, we're looking at the tower coming in. Yay. Well, it's going to keep coming because we need that foundation strong so we can build forward and build up. So I will continue to support you guys. I will continue with different tools. If you guys have any suggestions, please leave it below. I love to hear you guys, your thoughts, your feelings, your comments. It's helpful. I do want to thank you guys for joining me this week. I hope this helped. I'm sorry that the tower's coming in. However, think of it as an opportunity of growth rather than something to fear. Like I said, next week I will be live a number of times to support you with the full moon, with Mercury Retrograde, and the following week. If you haven't, it would be fantastic if you could subscribe, because this kind of week happens where I am on 4 times next week. It just really depends on what's happening. So if you subscribe and you hit the little bell thingy, you're notified when I'm online. And I do a lot of my stuff live, so you guys can ask in time what you could do, what's happening, if I had any other thoughts on something else. I do that intentionally so that you guys have that ability to have someone firsthand right here with you. So yeah, next week's going to be interesting. And I can't wait to see how this growth will support us. So I want to thank you guys. Like always, I will see you tomorrow.